Welcome to Dakota Prep Question Walkthrough. You know what I felt like doing when I woke up this morning? Opened my eyes, stretched, and thought, I want to do a derating question. That's what I want to do. I want to do a question about derating. And look at us. Here we are, achieving our goals first thing in the morning. My God. All right. What is the ampacity of 5-2-aught R90 XLPE in a room that is 42 degrees Celsius? Now, right off the bat, before I forget, because I do like to forget things, we're going to be going into 4-004 for derating stuff. Now, when it comes to derating, I got a handy little trick I like to use. I'm going to go WTF. Now, even though we all know what this stands for, if anybody asks, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, don't tell my boss. So W is going to stand for where? Where's it going? I don't know. Where's it going? But for that, we're going to be using tables 1 to 4. For T, temperature. What kind of temperature? Ambient temperature. Ambient starts with an A, so we're going to use table 5A. And F is for fill, otherwise known as how many conductors can we cram into conduit? 5C. How many conductors can we cram into conduit? So that's what we're going to use for that. Now let's get rid of this part here, which, yay. All right, so in the first part here, we're going to go with where. Where is it going? Does it mention copper or aluminum? No. So because it doesn't mention it, we assume copper. Does it mention free air or crammed into conduit? No. So we assume crammed into conduit. So we're going to use table 2. Our T is for ambient temperature, and this says 42 degrees Celsius. 99% of the stuff in the code book is based off of 30 degrees. So if you get a question on your exam that mentions any type of temperature, that's a clue. That's a Blue's Clues. All right, F is for fill, and in this case, we have 5 of them. So we're going to use table 5A for ambient temperature, and for fill, we're going to use 5C. How many conductors can we cram into conduit? So the first thing we're going to do now is go to table 2, and we are going to look up our 2-aught. Now, 4-006 applies here, which basically states if a termination temperature is not listed, 4-006 applies. 4-006 has 2 different wonky-donkey things. The first one is, if it's 100 amps or less, you use the 60-degree column. If it's more than 100 amps, use the 75-degree column. Or, if it is a number 1 or less, you use the 60-degree column. If it's a more than a number 1, use the 75-degree column. So in this case, we see it's a 2-aught. So we're going to head over to table 2, and we're going to look it up. But right off the bat, a 2-aught is clearly bigger than a number 1. So we're going to use the 75-degree column, head over to table 2. We look down the 75-degree column, and we see it's 175 amperes. Right there. And I'm just going to get rid of this over here. Get it out of here. There we go. Okay. Now, we then need to look at table 5A, 42 degrees. Now, even though we used the 75-degree column for here, table 5A is still based off what the conductor's actually rated as. And if we go back, we see it's R90. So even though we used the 75-degree column, that was because there was no termination temperature listed. We still have to use the 90-degree column for table 5A. So it's 42 degrees. We obviously have to go up to the 45. We swing a Randy, and we see it is 0.8. Give me the point there. 7. All right. Now, fill, table 5C. There's 5 of them. This one's pretty easy, 0.80. And all that we have to do now is just multiply these bad boys. And once we multiply 175 by 0.87 by 0.80, we end up with 121.8. 8. And that, my friends, is how we do a quick derating. Ta-da! Ta-da! Gosh, we're so smart.